Welcome back to Animal Crossing Horizons. I'm dear darling. I shall we see what's going on our lovely island of Fawnhollow today, where we'll be relaxing as per usual. Happy Father's Day to all the fathers of Britain out there, because today is Father's Day in the UK. So hopefully, hold on, let me just see. Sorry, I was just reading a message being like, do I need to respond to this? I'll respond to it afterwards. Yeah, so what was I going to say? I don't remember what I was going to say. There was something I was going to say and I was like, yeah, this is, I don't know, I was just like tired or something. But anyway, hello everyone. Right now in Fawnhollow at 6:17 PM on Sunday, June 18th, 2023. What was I going to say? I literally had like a trailer thought going into this episode and then immediately forgot it, which is, you know, I don't know, typical, but it's just so typically me. Dum 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 da dum. Oops, I didn't. Yeah, okay, yeah, you get the picture. You get the picture. So yeah, what was I going to say? I don't know. my mind is a mess right now. I've been finding, you know, as the summer months it gets warmer and warmer. I am getting, I feel quite tired, to be honest, recently, and I was thinking about it, you know, as I was lying down in bed, being like, oh, you know, 9 AM, I should probably get up now. Where it's just like, why am I so tired? You know, and I was like, am I doing something differently? Like, am I like, oh man, am I like super ill or something? But when I thought about it more, and I'm like, I'm pretty sure it's just the hot weather. I'm just lethargic. It's just like every year I forget that hot weather makes me tired. And just like, I can't be bothered to do things. And then it's just like, it's so hot, I don't want to do things. And another thing, which is also like wild, is I've been finding in this hot weather that this is the first time I've had like a display screen tablet, which I'm actually going to turn off, I suppose, while I'm doing this. Because I'm actually drawing the next thumbnail art for one, following on from Spiritfarer. I don't have a lot of time to finish it, but it shouldn't take too long, I would say. I'm going to guess it's going to take about 3 hours. Because it's got a very simple background and the designs are quite simple. But yeah, what was I going to say? I forgot. Genuinely, I can't keep like a straight thought right now, because that's how much hot weather's affecting me. It's like, oh, you know, all this increased blood flow to my brain is not good or something, despite that being the opposite of what it should be. No, it's just like hot weather. I always forget every year about hot weather makes me tired. And so, you know, when I'm like, when it's like winter time, I'm like maximizing my peak efficiency. You know, I'm like an engine. I'm running. I'm like, well, the ambient cooling temperature of winter cools me down, so I just keep going, you know, and doing things. And well, except for I don't always, like, I suppose, go outside as much. But like autumn, I suppose, is always the best season for proactiveness. And then summer's just like, I can't be bothered to do anything. Bringing back to the days when I was a child, and you know, the summers were hot, but not this hot. I'm gonna be honest, like I'm going to assume, due to like global warming and all everything becoming reasonably hot, is air conditioning is going to become far more common in UK households than it is right now. As I say before, you know, why in Britain we tend to complain about heat is because we are not. I think it's every time. We're not built for having hot weather. We don't have air conditioning. All our houses are made to trap heat in, etc., etc. But you're neither here nor there. If you've been around long enough, you'll know the story. But the one thing I was noticing, which is quite annoying, I suppose, about hot weather when I was drawing like with Fawnhallow arts recently, is this is the first time I've been using a display screen tablet, I suppose, while in summer. The display screen tablet actually gets quite hot. I was like drawing on it like a couple of days ago. Whenever I was doing the unpacking, Fawnhallow, I was like, ow, this is actually like, it's not like burning my hand or anything, but it's like, it's uncomfortably warm. You know, I suppose, like leaning against it, trying to do things at the same time. And you know, it's a sort of thing where, like, I suppose if I leave it on for too long, it'll get warm as well. You know, I guess it's just kind of a reminder that, you know, oh yeah, you know, things which produce like light produce heat as well most of the time. I don't know if it's even really that possible to produce light without heat. I don't know, maybe LEDs get kind of close, but LEDs can still get pretty hot. Remember my days back in electronics class that, like, not that you should. But some people would sometimes just like blow out the LEDs. Because here's a pro tip: if you just like strap an LED across a power supply, it blows up because it needs a resistor there to at least drop some voltage across it or something. It's like LEDs drop like 2 volts, but the power supplies are all like 5 volts or something. And then it's just like, oh, you're running 5 volts across the entire thing, and then it's like resistance is not, it is like nothing or something because it technically works like as a diode or whatever. And when you run current the correct way through a diode, its resistance drops to nothing, because that's kind of like the entire point of it or something like that. And then the current through it is like really high because of that, because V equals IR, and it explodes because it, you know, it's just too much. That's why whenever you wire up LEDs, you need to give them like a resistor as well. it's basically a long and short of it. Yeah, but I don't know, did they get particularly hot, I suppose, while connected to a power supply? Maybe. Can something give off heat while giving off no light? I don't know. Maybe not the primitive measures we use. I'm just trying to think, what gives off heat? I mean, I guess technically things could. Well, actually, I guess when things get hot, they just do become brighter, right? No, well, maybe that only really applies to metals, to be perfectly honest. I don't really know. I feel like that makes sense to me. Exciting, like the atoms, is what happens when you heat things up, right? And isn't I shouldn't even try to guess this. And yeah, it's been years since I've done like atomic, like particle physics, I suppose. Does that even count as particle physics? I don't even know anymore. Anyway, but basically, the long and short of it is the screen gets kind of hot, I suppose, throughout the day because it's hot. I don't know if my computer monitor screens get that hot. Kind of. Yeah. Even now, I've turned this off and it's still retaining quite a bit of heat. I guess you kind of just forget how much heat like a computer gives off. I think also probably I haven't cleaned my computer out for a while, so it's probably running a bit hotter than it should. I should probably actually clean out all the dust and that sort of thing, but I've just, you know, honestly I should have done it this weekend, to be honest. I guess I'd try and do it next weekend if I remember. Sometimes it's hard to remember. So basically this weekend I've not really done a huge lot. You know, I mean, I've done chores, I suppose, but I've not done anything crazy because it's just hot. I've just been lazy, I suppose. As I drink some water. And after this I'm just going to go eat some dinner and try and finish off this Fawnhallow out properly. I need to record some more episodes of things in advance. I don't... how much have I got in advance? I think I've got next week half done, maybe? So what can I record? I can record some more unpacking, probably. Yeah, I need to record some unpacking. And then next week will be done. Okay, so... I don't know if I'll do that before or after dinner. I might do that before dinner, to be perfectly honest. What was I going to do? I was going to look up the weather. What's the weather like? Like tomorrow, next week? You can't show weather info for this location. Do I not exist anymore? Wow. I just don't exist anymore. Okay, how about... what if I put in a slightly bigger city near me? What's going on? What? Google Weather app? What's going on with you? You're not giving me anything. How am I meant to know how hot something is right now, or how hot I'm meant to feel? And I have also seen one of my friends has requested a Monzo payment from me for the seeing Guardians of the Galaxy 3, like last weekend, so I am going to accept this, confirm my payment. You get entertainment. Whoa, we had a makeover. Look, Monzo's got a whole new like app thing going on. Cool. View layouts. And I don't really know what the difference is. Basic or recommended? I'll do recommended. I'll trust your instincts. Sure. Alright. It don't really look that different, I'm going to be perfectly honest. Anyway. I forgot what I was going to say. What was I going to say? Anyway, it's just like hot, I guess. That's kind of long and short of it. It's too hot to like do things, to be perfectly honest. Yeah, but the screens get hot. Like computer heat in general is surprising. You know, I've always had like a computer in my room. I've used a computer for most of my life, to be perfectly honest. You know, ever since I was quite young, I used technology, and so my room always ran a lot hotter, I suppose, than my other family members' rooms or something. Excuse me. And there's not really much of a story apart from that, I suppose. It'd just be like, oh, you know, sometimes they come into my room and be like, whoa, dear darling, your room's like so hot, and I'm like, yeah, it's a computer or something like that. I guess it just you know, it's sort of like compounded in the summer heat, which makes me think, if you live in a country where it's super hot, and like, how does your computer survive, or like any electronic survives? And now I just realised the answer to my question is I would assume you have air conditioning inside your home, to help alleviate the heat. You might not, which is fair enough. You know, everyone's got different, I suppose, requirements. But yeah, it's like, I kind of forget, like, electronics, like, it's not It's like a incredibly inefficient heater, if you want to think about it that way. And you might be like, computers aren't inefficient. No, I don't mean like that. I mean, if you were using a computer as a heater, it'd be pretty inefficient, unless I guess you were like Bitcoin mining or something. But that's like are people still doing that? Are people still doing that? Like, obviously you don't use a computer for heat. If you do, why? I suppose it's sort of like more like a byproduct, and kind of an unwanted byproduct, if anything. I'd much rather my computer produce no heat, and I'm sure it would rather produce no heat as well. It would probably rather be like super cooled or something, but that's not the world we live in. That's not how energy conversion works, at least not with our current technology. If in the future that gets like turned on its head, whoa, that'd be crazy, to be perfectly honest. But as of right now, we're going to have to sort of just deal with the fact that heat as a byproduct for electronics is kind of here to stay. I remember I used to have a laptop when I was much younger as well. That always used to get super, super hot. Like it would like burn your lap sort of hot. It wasn't a very good laptop, mind you, but I'd like try and do like play games or something on it, and it was kind of old, to be perfectly honest. It was like, I don't know, I think it was like from China or something. Who even knows what's going on with it? But anyway, I didn't have that laptop for very long, to be perfectly honest. I think it broke and froze at some point. I don't really remember what happened to it. But I very much migrated to computers instead of laptops because, well, I suppose laptops just get too hot, and, you know, laptops aren't really powerful enough for most things I want to do. But I have said that I do want to get a laptop in future, and I've been considering getting a Surface, or one of the Microsoft Surfaces, but I haven't really like jumped the gun on that yet because I don't quite have a need for a laptop yet. It's something which I think would be convenient, but it's not like not a necessity. I am going on holiday though, like in September time, not too long after my birthday actually, and around then I would probably actually do want a laptop. I do actually want to bring a laptop to not to life, to the holiday, but maybe I won't, I don't know. It's just something to keep in mind. But yeah, what was I gonna say? Yeah, but my friends always used to like have laptops, and they always, not all of them, I suppose, but a lot of them, especially when we started playing League of Legends back when we were like in year 7 or something, on their laptops, because they didn't have like gaming computers. Why would they, to be perfectly honest? I was quite niche, I suppose, where I was basically the only one who really played a lot of, not I was the only one who really played a lot of games, I was really the only one who played a lot of computer games, I think, back then. Well, I have friends I knew back then, probably. Because I started playing computer games super early now I think about it. Yeah, like in primary, like younger than primary school. Now I think about it. So, no, not younger than primary school. Hold on, not like nursery or kindergarten or anything. In primary school, I mean, say. I remember that's when I first got my Steam account set up. Have I told? I think I told the story before. My Steam account was made by someone else from my primary school, which is so weird to say because, you know, I went around to his house, we played TF2, and I loved it, and I was like, whoa, okay, and like, how do I do this stuff? Like, and he was like, oh, you have to like download the Steam or whatever, and I was make an account, and he was like, I was like, how do I do that? And he was like, it's okay, I'll make an account for you, I'll bring in the details tomorrow, just tell me what you want it to be called. And then that's when I had my then username, and he gave me a password, I don't remember what it was, and I changed it since then. So technically he made my account, which is weird to say. I don't think he has any connection to my details now. I've not even spoken to him since leaving primary school, to be perfectly honest. Hopefully he's doing well. I think he became like a pilot or something. I don't really know. But good for him. I forgot what I was getting with this. Anyway, yeah. Yeah, anyway, oh yeah, so that's what I was going to say. Like, they played on their laptops and that sort of thing, and their laptops were obviously not gaming laptops, so they like got heated up super quickly. So they bought like these laptop fans, like external laptop fans, which is basically like, I don't know if it's like a cooling pad, I don't really know how it works, but you like place it like underneath your or you place your laptop on top of it, I suppose. You plug it into one of the USB ports, and it's basically like an external fan to help cool things down, I suppose. I remember, oh actually, I don't think I told this story before. My first desktop computer was not good. It was some random computer my parents bought. Well, yeah, I'm still thankful my parents bought it, but, you know, looking back with the knowledge I have now, I'd be like, if I could go back in time, I'd be like, don't buy that computer, quick, let me build you one. I would do that. But it was some terrible one bought from like PC World or something, ran Windows Vista. I don't know, but I used it for quite a while. The thing I remember most about it is the fact the case, the button was like a protruding button on the top of a case, and so many times I accidentally hit that button while I was like playing a game or something, and it would just like kick me out of the game, and I was like, no, my League of Legends match or something like that. Good times. Anyway, it was terrible. I mean, at some point, like, I remember the graphics card fan stopped working on it. Like, I was playing like League of Legends, and it was just like it just like stopped work. It like crashed. My computer would just like full on shut down, and I couldn't figure out what's going on. I didn't really know much about computers back then, and even now I don't know that much. I know enough to build a computer, I suppose, and to get a basic understanding. But at the time, it was because the fan stopped working, and it was incredibly overheating, and then it would just like shut down because it was like it cannot keep up, or that sort of thing. And I remember at the time, my mum had a colleague who was like pretty into computers and that sort of thing. I don't think he was even an IT person. I think he was like, I don't know, like a data management person or something. I genuinely don't remember. He's awesome, by the way. I haven't spoken to him since, but he's a cool guy. And then he like took a look at my computer and that sort of thing. It was like, it's not spinning. Eventually, before that happened, I remember I diagnosed it being like, oh yeah, it's the computer fan has stopped spinning. It usually should be spinning. But I found that what I could do is if I tapped it in just the right way, it would start up spinning again somehow, which is the wildest thing. So it would happen that I'd be like playing in a match, and then it would be like, whoa, my FPS is dropping. It means I've got like 30 seconds to like tap my fan in the right way, otherwise the computer will overheat and it will die on me, and I'll get kicked out of my game. It's so funny thinking back on it, but yeah. Anyway, that sort of became a catalyst of me getting my own first building my own computer. It was like talking to him, and he was just like, okay, you can like replace the fan, you can get a new graphics card, or you can build a computer. Because he was like, replacing a fan is expensive because they don't really make this graphics card anymore. You had to get like shipped from China or something, and it was just like really pointless for how terrible it was. And he was like, oh, you could replace a graphics card, but then you're gonna be bottlenecked by all your other components because your other components are terrible. Or you could talk to your parents, you can figure out some money to spend and get a computer. And I was like, all right, I'll do that. Because I was like, that seems like a most reasonable option. Like, and had discussions with my parents, and originally, I think my first computer actually cost like £1,000 or something. Like, I saved up like a lot of pocket money, maybe like 800. I can't remember, which is weird to think about because like that's like a lot of money for like however old I was back then, to be honest. But it's because literally I spent like nothing. I would buy like a game like every 2 months or so, and I got pocket money, and I was in a very privileged, I suppose, position to do so. I didn't have to work or anything like that, but so I just like accrued like money over from like Christmas and birthday over years because I had like no needs or wants, apart from like basic needs and that sort of thing, which my parents paid for because they're reasonable. Wasn't just like a very normal thing I think to do when you're raising a child? Not even a thing to do. Your parents should probably like pay for your food and your shelter and accommodation, hopefully. Of course, depending on the situation, sometimes it's not always easy to. But sorry, I'm getting sidetracked. But it was quite an expensive one. But it was very much just sort of like, not buy it for life, but buy it for a heck of a long time. And it was something I used every single day, and I felt really bad for like spending more money on it. And my parents were like, you literally use a computer every single day. This is the time to spend money on that sort of thing. So I was like, okay. And they helped subsidize some of the cost, I remember that. And yeah, and then it was no more. The computer overheating problem is no longer a problem. And I installed MSI Afterburner to keep an eye on my computer temperatures from then on, to make sure that things like this don't happen. Hopefully in the future. Saying that, some of my computer parts are probably quite old now. I wouldn't be surprised if something fails on me soon. I don't know what the oldest thing in my computer is. But, I would consider getting some upgrades, I suppose, in the future. One thing I definitely should do, I don't think my motherboard is compatible with DDR4 or whatever, but I should definitely get more RAM. Especially when, like, I do, like, rendering for videos and that sort of thing. It probably matters a lot more. Oh, my pockets are full. Okay, let's sell all these items and we'll round the episode off here. But yeah, I remember my computer got like really hot, got like 80, 90 degrees or something, when it was just like obviously shut down because it was like, I can't take it anymore. But yeah, well, one memory I do have from that from that era, that period, was because I was like, okay, I'm just gonna never use my graphics card, I suppose, until, you know, I can get a replacement or like computer, that sort of thing. And then it was like, it was like quite a while. It was like a month or something, I think, where I basically was like using my computer. But you know, if you've ever like booted up your computer in safe mode, it was like that, like without drivers or anything. It was just like huge, everything blown up. I was basically on like 300 times zoom or something. And then it was only in like the last few days, I suppose, before like the parts came and I like assembled a computer, I was like, oh yeah, I could use like the onboard graphics on my motherboard. Instead of just having everything super zoomed in all the entire time. I can actually play League of Legends like that instead of just giving it up for like a month or something. To be fair, on the lowest graphics, but still it's better than nothing, isn't it? Especially at that time, because I really like playing that game. It was my favourite game at the time. Anyway, fun times to think back on. And, you know, it's a learning experience. Is perhaps the most important thing from that. Because if I didn't learn anything from that, sorry, I'm just like sitting up and I was like, my posture is terrible. So if you don't learn anything on that, like, what's the point? Anyway, I'm going to round this episode off here, I suppose. So if you have been watching, thank you very much. It's been Animal Crossing New Horizons. I've been Dear Darling. Likes, comments, subscription, shares are greatly appreciated. Twitter, Discord down below. And I hope we see each other again. But for now, okay, well, let's wait for it to finish. Oh, excuse me. But for now, it's our farewell. So until next time, bye-bye for now.